Okay, so for my project, I decided to create a sample school server system on a very small scale. I only have 3 students, 3 teachers, and 3 school admins. The first thing I did was set up the groups and their properties, and then I added members to them, 3 to each. So there are 3 students, 3 school admins, and 3 teachers, like I said. Um, the I created a share folder on the local C disk, which is tied in. This is a sample student account right here, but it's tied into each of their accounts so that it automatically maps the network drive every time that they log in, so they're automatically connected to all the files. Now each share folder is set up differently, and I changed the logo just because I thought it looked cooler, but they're just very simple folders with special permissions. For the school admin folder, what happened there? The school administrators are allowed to modify, read, execute, list folder contents, read, write, all that fun stuff to that folder. However, no one else can read from it. And inside of each of the share folders is a personal folder with the username of the user that it's designated for. So this one is set to D. Carabardi, and it is set up so that Don Carabardi is allowed to read, or modify, read, and execute, list folder contents, read, and write, while the rest of the school admins are only allowed to see the folder contents. And inside of the share folder there is plenty of room for just basic anything that they wanted to share publicly among the school admins, such as calendars and other forms that they may need access to regularly. And the same thing goes for the students, set up so that each student has permission to their folder. However, the teachers and school admins are able to read from it. The teacher drop is just literally a drop folder that students can drop to deliver projects or assignments to their teachers. And that can be read by teachers or school admins. And it is only a drop, so if something gets dropped in there, it can no longer be changed. Something else would have to be dropped in there. You'd have to take the file that you had and redrop it to the teacher, unless the teacher were to, or a school, or the system administrator were to grant special permissions for that one case. And then the teachers are set up like the school admins. However, the school admins are able to read and list folder contents in these folders. So let me give you an example of how the shares work. If a student has a text file, we'll call it, well, that's not what I wanted. If we have a text file, something really basic, call it test teacher drop. And this is from the Christopher Turton profile, which is under the students. So, and he can drop it to this folder. However, he cannot, he can't open it, I believe. Or no, he can't open, yeah, it won't let it open. And he cannot rename it anything else, because he does not have access to it. He can also drop a file to his personal student folder. Which is in the students, or C Turton. Actually, he can write it to the main drive, and he won't be able to drop it into the ARPA-Pufnik and the JRafool, because he does not have access to them. However, you can drop it in there. So now that I have set up for each of the different, well, I did the same thing for every single account. They have to change their password as soon as they log in, because this is an account that has not been logged in yet. And it expires, the password expires every 30 days, and there's no real specific logon hours because students will stay after school, as will teachers frequently, but those can be set very easily if need be. So now we'll go to the example teacher user that I have. In each of these accounts that I'm using as of right now, I have already been in and changed the password, but I can do an example of one of the students toward the end of this video to show you that it's working. So we're in the MHAN, so any documents will fall into that folder. Now MHAN is able to access the teacher drop, teachers, and student folders. However, it cannot write to the teacher drop or to the student folders. And it's mapped to the school admin. However, it's not able to access the files because this user does not have permissions to it. It's going to try there for a second, then access is denied. Okay, so we'll go to the teacher drop, and we can see that the test cturton file, or the test teacher drop file, should be in there, which it is, just as a regular text document, and we can access it and read over it. But I'm pretty sure we cannot make changes to it. Okay, we can make changes to it. So the teachers would be able to write notes on it and then print it out and hand it back to the students. They can read the sample file, test cturton, and then they are able to read and write, and they have modify control of the teacher shares. And again, I have it set up so that they would be able to only drop to their folders. So it can drop into the main thing again so they can share calendars. And then I can only drop into the MHAN folder since this is the MHAN account. And it won't work with J. Hinckley or B. Eckert, but it'll drop right into MHAN. Okay, now that I've shown you the example teacher, I'll pull up one of the school admin folder. And there's the file right there on the server. And for my backup system, I used Ace Backup 3 because I know I said I was going to use Server Backup Free, but as it turns out, that was either I clicked on the wrong link when I was searching for the file, or it is no longer what it used to be because it just wanted my email and then a social security number, so I said no to that and found another one. So now we're going to log into the sample administrator, school administrator user account. And that'll take a while. And then after I get done with this, I'll show how any user that hadn't been logged into needs to change their password on the next login. Okay, so our hand, they're mapped to all the network drives again. And the sizes, I I wasn't able to figure out how to delegate them each individually since I'm using VirtualBox. But if this were a real server, I'd be able to change the size of that very easily. So they're able to read from the teacher drop. There should be the test teacher drop. Then it should also be able to read the teacher folders and the student folders. So we'll go to teachers. We know there's a text document in here. And it's able to read that folder. It's also able to read student folders to make sure that there's no non-school affiliated documents on there, to make sure that the teachers are doing their jobs. And they're able to write to the school admin folder just like the other ones. And since we're in RHand, we're able to drop a text document into the RHand folder. I'll do that for you right now. Test RHand. So it's able to drop in here if it's a shared document like calendars. And then we're able to drop that into here if need be. However, we do not have access to D. Carabarty or to S. Schreiber. We're able to list the folder contents, but that's it. Now what I'll go ahead and show you is the process of what happens when you log into a new account that hadn't been logged into yet. So I will do the Joey Raful, and as you can see, it's set up already so that as soon as they log in, they must change their password on next login. Password is spelled like so, 00LRULES. So it has to be complex, have some numbers and a special character. We won't save that. Go here, and we'll switch the user, other user, jraful, and the password is $, capital C, capital H, 00LRULES, which looks like school rules. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. Go. User must change password before logging in the first time, and we'll just change the password to something simple that I can remember, and it's something that we actually used in class, so I'll change it to Panther $, just so that I don't forget it. And we click the arrow, changing password. And the account password has been changed. Alright, so that's what I did for my final project. I think I covered everything that I did. So yeah, that is it.